All right, everybody, how you doing? This is Robert Rivera with Who's On First, and we got special guest Tyler Pazik, and he is with the Pazik Performance Group. So, Tyler, introduce yourself.
Yeah, I'm Tyler Pazik. I'm a mental performance coach. I am the owner of the company, the Pazik Performance Group, and I work with different athletes and professionals on the mental game. Sports psychology, confidence, culture, leadership, communication skills. So it's really anything that falls underneath the umbrella of sports psychology.
Yeah, you just mentioned leadership, and I'm starting to notice there's a lot of things that I've noticed with the kids and leaderships. I mean, what would make a good leader for you?
Well, I think the base of any leadership pyramid, it all comes down to trust. So if you are good at building trust with others, then you're probably going to be a pretty good leader. Trust is the main thing. Like one of the leadership pyramids that I think about is, if you think about it, like the bottom is trust, and then working your way up towards the top of the pyramid, which would be results. You have trust, and then you have communication, and then you have commitment, and then you have accountability, and then you have results at the top. And so you need to be able to have trust with everybody in your team in order to communicate effectively with each other. And then once you can communicate effectively with each other, you can commit to a certain worthy ideal, whatever that might be, like a championship or something like that. And then once you all commit to this path, then you can hold each other accountable to staying on that path. And, the more accountability you have to, staying on the path, then you can start getting the results that you want in the long run.
Yeah, there was another thing that was said, and it was in a not in a leadership type of role, but the person who said it was a rapper, Fat Joe, and he's saying in a lot of his groups, a lot of people don't know how to be number two. Everybody wants to be number one, but nobody knows how to be a number two. What do you think about that?
I think that's a great quote. One thing I talk about is, like, you don't have to accept your role, but you do have to execute your role. So like whatever role you're currently in, you have to execute it. And a lot of kids, I think, when they are number two or they are number three, they think they're less than or something like that. But really, it's like, okay, you're just not the number one right now. If you see yourself being a number one at some point, well, then the only way to get there is for you to execute the role that you're currently in, right? And then keep working towards where you want to go. And like, obviously, if you're being the best number two that you could possibly be, then it's like, okay, eventually you'll be a number one if you do want to be a number one. And then also it's like finding the job or finding the role or position that's right for you. Like if you don't like being on camera, then it's like you can be the person behind the camera, and like that position is just as important as the person that's on screen. One of the things I ask is like, who is a leader? Like, when are you a leader? I believe that everybody is a leader, because you're a leader when anybody counts on you for anything. So if your number one is counting on the number two, then like that number two is a leader. Or like if you're a third string wide receiver, like your QB1 is counting on you. So therefore, even though you're the third wide receiver, like you're still a leader on the team, because if you don't run those routes the way that you need to run those routes, then he's going to be getting crappy reads, and then he's going to be making crappy throws, and you're going to be like bringing the team down. So like you are a leader even though you're the third string wide receiver, and so on and so forth. So I would say when it comes back to like being a number two, it's understanding your job and then executing your job at the highest level possible.
Okay, so basically, if you just do what you're supposed to be doing, you run out those ground balls, you're hustling on the field and you're hustling off the field. You may not be the captain of the team, but hey, everybody knows you're somebody that you can depend on.
Okay. Yeah, exactly.
All right. So let me ask you another question: is what do you think of the definition, the Yips?
Yeah, the Yips.
Oh, yeah, the Yips. What's your opinion on that?
I think that it's completely a curable, quote unquote, thing that happens. Like one of my mentors, he's known as the Yips Slayer. They go to him for one session and he gets rid of the yips. I think that it's really just a mental block that's going on. And there's this thing called tapping, or emotional freedom technique, EFT. Have you ever heard of tapping?
I heard of tapping. I think it was Delamakia or something like that. I forgot the gentleman's name. He was the catcher for the Boston Red Sox.
Hmm.
He was the one that started doing that, or he was involved in that, and it helped him. He couldn't get the ball
Yeah.
60 feet.
Yeah. So what tapping does is it helps reset your like mind body system, basically. And like every thought we have permeates into every cell in our body, right? That's how feelings are created. Like a feeling in your body is created from your brain sending an impulse down your body. And sometimes that gets a little blocked or like backed up. And so tapping helps you release that emotional energy that's there that's not allowing you to just like throw it back to the pitcher or throw it wherever you want to be throwing it, or fielding the ground ball or whatever it might be, and helps you get back to focusing on what you need to focus on to do well out there. The yips, it's definitely tough when you're going through them, but I mean, I've helped plenty of athletes get through the yips.
What would be an exercise for, let's say, somebody who's having a hard time sleeping, a player, maybe the day before the game, or has panic attacks on the way to the game? What would you do for them?
Well, the first thing we would do is talk through it for sure, and I would just ask them questions about what is it like for you going to sleep at night? Like, what are you thinking about in terms of the future? Like, what can you control? What can't you control? Also, getting them into some form of meditation or a tapping routine as well for whatever their thoughts are that they're
Okay.
having. And I like to call those like unproductive and productive thoughts. So it's like,
Okay.
what unproductive thoughts are you having? And then you want to catch those, admit them to yourself or accept that you're having them, and then replace them with how you do want to be thinking and feeling. So, like, if you notice that you're anxious, it's like, oh, that's interesting. Like, I'm anxious right now. Like, I wonder why I'm anxious. Oh, it's because I'm thinking about this future event that hasn't even happened yet.
Right.
Okay, well, that's all unproductive. So let's bring ourselves back to this moment right here, right now, and focus on something that I can control.
What about diet and nutrition? I mean, I know, some people say caffeine is good. Sometimes they say it's not. Gatorade, these the Gatorade chews that they come out with now. I mean, what are your thoughts on some of the nutrition stuff?
In terms of, like, I'm not a nutrition coach or a dietitian or anything like that. So I can't say for sure or I don't want to be giving any advice out on
Yeah.
here. I just know that it's like find somebody that can help you with that. Like your nutrition and diet are huge, and there's not one thing that works for everyone, but there is something that works for you. So it's continuing to try the different things that are out there, talk to different people, and find something that works that makes you feel good on a daily basis. Right. And I think the older you get, the more you realize it. Because I mean, like when I was back in college, I could eat whatever I wanted, do whatever I wanted, and I felt fine the next day. Whereas now it's like, okay, I know from my body personally that like if I eat bread or processed sugar, like the next day I feel like I have a brain fog. I just try to stay away from that stuff as much as possible. But yeah, continuing to try things, continuing to read about nutrition and diet, and talking to people that can help you because it's vital. Like all the best college programs right now have dietitians, nutritionists working with them because food is life, and what you eat like determines how well you focus out there and practice that
Right.
day or not.
Right. 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 How would anybody want to get in touch with you?
They can reach out to me personally. My phone number is 847-922-1371. And my email is Tyler at PazikPerformanceGroup.com. So that's Tyler, Tyler at Pazik, P-A-Z as in zebra, I-K, performancegroup.com.
You pitched at Indiana State, I believe is what I looked up.
Yes, I did.
Yeah. I mean, what was your love of the game? Where did that come from?
The love of the game. I don't know. Ever since I was like 4 or 5 years old, I loved baseball for sure. And then when I was growing up, like all I wanted to do was go play Division I baseball. Like that was my big goal. I just was ultra focused on that all throughout high school. Before that, I was playing more sports, I would say, in grade school. But then, yeah, once I got to high school, it was pretty much all right. Like, let's go play Division I. What do I have to do to get there? And then I did what I had to do. I think the three most important words, like I just talked about a little bit, are like I want that. Like, what is your that? I wanted to go play Division I baseball, right? That was my that. Once
Right.
you figure out what your that is, it's like by you chasing your goal or whatever your that is, you're going to help elevate everybody else around you. You know, like people talk about like being selfish and being selfless. It's like when it comes to your goals, you want to be selfish about what you truly want, what's authentic and honest to you. That way, everybody else that you then surround yourself by, they'll have those common goals as well. And like success breeds success, right? If you're chasing it down, then everybody else is going to chase down their goals around you as well. It's just going to elevate each other, and you're going to have that collaborative competition going on,
Right,
which
right.
is amazing. So
Yeah.
I would say figure out your that, and then do what you have to do to get your that.
Okay. I have a sign in my house and it says often bumpy roads lead to beautiful places. And it was Davey Martinez from the Washington Nationals. As you can see, I got his hat.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
this season started off really, really bumpy for them. And at one point, Washington Nationals were possibly looking at replacing him. And it was, hey, calm down. We got this. And next thing you know, they were, I believe, what was it? They ended up with a record of 93-69, which you
Mhm.
would think that's a great season for a baseball team, but they did wind up holding the trophy, guys. We got a curveball question. Here it is. I'm going to give you your wish. You're going to get to pitch to 3 batters in the major
Ooh.
leagues. Any stadium you want, any team you want.
Probably the Dodgers Stadium.
Dodger
I
Stadium.
love that stadium down
Okay.
in the ravine.
Okay.
That's so cool.
What team would you be playing for?
Mm. I don't know. I grew up a White Sox fan, so the Chicago White Sox would be dope.
Okay. Let's go with the White Sox. What 3 batters you'd want to face?
It'd be really cool if Aaron Judge hit a home run off me. So probably Aaron Judge. It'd also be really cool if the polar bear took me deep. So maybe him too. And then Jack Sawinski for the Pirates right
Okay.
now, rookie. He'd get a lefty changeup, and I'd probably strike him out. So if Jack hears this,
Well, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm catching for you. So Judge is getting nothing but we're going to Charlietown on him. He's getting nothing but curveballs and changeups. That's it. Uncle Charlie's going to be living on him. I mean, we're out here to reach these kids. We're out here to reach anybody that wants to take this advice. Tyler's out here giving his time. Tyler's ready to fly out of here. He's got to go somewhere. And I appreciate you being on. And you have a good one.
yeah, no problem. You too.
All right, everybody. Like we always say on here on Who's On First, keep swinging.
If you like the show, please do me a favor. Subscribe. Right? You see it? It's right there. Subscribe, share, like, and don't forget, put that bell on. It'll ding you when I put something else on, all right?